Hi guys, Jay Smith here. Welcome to the AskGolfNut channel. Today we're doing the ZX4. I finally got the Srixon ZX Mark II irons. I've got the 4, the 5 and the 7 to test, and I've also got the drivers as well. So if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you go down there, hit the old subscribe button. It's free, so make sure you don't miss any of the upcoming normal reviews and also the compares that I'm going to be doing with these against the other brands as well. So ZX4, when it comes to Srixon's most, should we say, forgiveness biased golf club design, it is the largest one of the lot. I have this in the 6 iron. Now the 6 iron is a rather strong 6 iron, especially when you equate this to a set which I play with. My 5 iron is 27 degrees, this is 25.5 for a 6, so it'll be interesting to see for me personally how this works. Inside this head we have an array of technology, but the mainstay of this is the mainframe face. Now that mainframe face is AI produced. It's effectively a variable face thickness design, which means they've made the middle slower because they have the ability nowadays to make these faces that fast. They have to slow the face down in the middle. Otherwise it'd be illegal. These things are controlled, but it also then makes them able to make other parts of the faces thinner and so make them faster, because obviously as soon as you don't hit the middle you lose efficiency or smash factor, depends what launch monitor you run. But then obviously you can make the face thinner, which makes it more springy. You gain that back. And they're saying that this is the most forgiving out of all of the ZX lineup. Has got Tour V sole, where you've got relief off the leading edge, and then when it comes to the turf interaction, I'm not someone who really jumps into it. Bear in mind, many different manufacturers have many different bounce standards, many different soles, and they all work fairly well. Again, this whole idea of getting custom fit correctly so you know which suits you best, because obviously everyone had taxed the golf ball and the ground differently. It has got progressive grooves as well, which means effectively the 7 iron to 4 iron, I think it is, have wider grooves, and then 8 iron all the way down to the wedge, you get the kind of narrow but deeper grooves, because obviously they're looking at trying to transfer matter away when you're talking about digging, angle of attack, hitting more grass, blah blah blah. Right, that's the main part of this all done. Let's go change data sets, because at the moment I need to get a specific line for the ZX4 only, and let's go see how this thing gets on. Data set now changed. I am at Beaver Hills Country Club, hole 4. It's a par 3, 197 yards. Oh, now this is a 6 iron and it is 25.5 degrees. So it's stronger than my 5, but because this is a very much so technology driven, low center of gravity, effective help launch, all that kind of idea, it'll be really interesting to see how this works for me personally, because I know my 5 iron is the one that I struggle with possibly, so it'd be interesting to see how this launches peak heights and controls into this green, which is 200 yards away. Top line is, well, I would say that's relatively thick. Our sole isn't massive, and of course you go to the hybrid irons, their soles are bigger. This sole is, I would say, medium thick. And then head size isn't huge. I mean, obviously other manufacturers make heads like this which are much bigger, and so it's actually quite nice to see a head which is decent size. Don't get me wrong, it's not small, but it's not super chunky. Right, let's go give this one a hit. Offset, well, we got a little bit of offset down there, but down by the golf ball it looks absolutely perfectly normal. Yeah, this thing has got some severe punchy sound to it. Now these are forged, cool, pin high. These are forged but not forged. They are forged, they're made of forged bits, but then this is a hollow bodied head, so you are going to have a certain amount of noise. What we got, yeah, face and path delivery is good. 6mm toe, 2mm, just a good strike. It's decent. 6mm toe, you'll take that any day with a 25.5 degree iron. Doesn't matter what number it says on the bottom. 39 yards in the air and 49 degrees descent angle. Yeah, I'm not going to get that from my 5 iron. Yeah, I think I might have to change into something a little bit more easy to launch when it comes to mine. But yeah, it's a audibly distinct punch. You can definitely tell you're hitting it, but it's fun. I mean, the fact that you can hit something which is shorter than my 5 iron, it's a 6 iron, it's a ½ inch shorter than what I'm used to, but it's going higher, it's going 198 yards carry, it's going a fraction further than my 5 iron. but it's got that 39 yards in the air, 50 degrees descent angle nearly. It's coming in and lovely and high, and hopefully stopping on a relative sixpence. Now, I'm hitting this my normal speed. Oh my word, look at that. And again, when it comes to speed, guys, I will be doing this test at the end after doing this bit. I'll be doing the test when it comes to forgiveness, and I'll hit it at my normal speed-ish, and I'll slow it down as well, and we'll get an understanding of how this works across the face from heel toe, high-low, all those weird and wonderful spots, but also at a slightly slower speed as well. Because remember, this ZX4 is designed for people that are going to need extra help, mainly in forgiveness, but also a little bit in distance as well, definitely. And so we need to see at what point this becomes non-functional. Because again, 25.5 degrees, 6 irons, etc., you kind of get down that route. But I mean, it's working like ridiculously well. 39 yards in the air, 49 degrees descent angle. It's just good. Carrying 201. Yeah. I like the way it's stopping, I really do, and it's that kind of long iron replacement that many good golfers could go towards something like this. They don't have to go blades all the way through, or players distance all the way through, or even players cavity all the way through. They could actually go into what would be seen as kind of not quite a super game improvement iron, but it's well on the way when it comes to a game improvement iron for that longer shot into the green. But yeah, you can definitely tell it's got a bit some technology, should we say, in the head. That wasn't the best hit in the world, slightly terry, but as you can see, makes not a jot of difference. Wow. Now obviously this green is 200 yards away, so that's still stopping on the greens, which is good. Yeah, slightly high on the face. 3 mils, nothing. But 199 yards carry. Woof. 36 yards in the air, 48 degrees descent angle, that is still stopping. Now again, when it comes to the like descent angle thing, I have as my little magic number of 45 degrees. 45 degrees for me is the magic number that I want to see a golf ball go into a green, so it will stop on any green. Now remember, obviously taking away runways where planes land on, even hard surfaces, it will stop at 45 degrees. Most golf courses aren't like that, so you can get away with 40 to 45. But if you're going into a green sub 40 degrees descent angle, you really need to be playing on greens fairly soft, because otherwise it won't be stopping. So it'd be interesting to see how this performs when it comes to taking speed off, and at what point it doesn't become functional any longer. Right, one more go, and then we're going to go give this a whack all over the face and see how well this thing does. Oh, that's me. I'm not going to finish on that one. Oh, it's still at the green. Well, it's the fringe. That's my fault. You'll see by delivery. There you go. Path is fairly good. Strike slightly off, not too bad. 7 mil hill, 7 mil low, but the face is 3 degrees open. And there lies what my normal pattern is. My normal pattern when it comes to longer irons is either straight or leaky off. Straight or leaky off. That's the kind of the idea. I know that pattern. I'm not changing it on this green because the pin is on the left hand side, and if you miss left, you're short siding yourself, and that's the worst thing you can do. So I'm playing to my patterns. All right, can't finish it there. One more last one. That was a miss from me. Again, absolutely fine. I know my patterns, and you play to the pattern subject to where that pin is, because I'm not messing with that left hand pin. Not if I was playing this properly. I'm middle to the green, slightly right, middle to the green, slightly right. Yeah, so you can see me there. I'm cutting these in because I'm worried about the left. But I mean, it's still decent. It's going 37 yards in the air, 48 degrees descent angle rounded. It is more than stopping, even at 201 yards. So it's something definitely that I could use in my bag when it comes to replacing irons, or the longest iron, which for me is a 5, that I struggle with a little bit when it comes to control. Right, let's go whack this all over the face, high toe, heel low, all those wonderful spots. See what the drop-offs are when we don't quite hit the middle. And also I'll do some shots as well at a slightly lower speed to see at what point this ZX4 stops becoming functional. After hitting a load of shots with the ZX4, I'm quite impressed with this iron. Now, I've collected data when it comes to averages, and I've also collected some slow swing speed information as well. Basically, because this is a 6 iron, but it is 25.5 degrees, we've got to get to a point where we understand at what speed does this become unfunctional or non-functional. So you can crank irons to and then add loads of technology to make them go patron off the face and stuff like that, but you're still dealing with raw loft, and so you can get to a point of where as soon as you start taking speed off, there comes a point of where you're going to need to transition at one point into hybrids and stuff like that. So that's at the very end. I've caught some shots at a slower speed, so we can work into that one, but that'll be after the forgiveness side. So let's just go have a look quickly at the averages to see how well the ZX4 got on when I've hit it within reason at my normalish speed, whacking all over the face. But on average, we are looking at ball speed 127 miles an hour, launching at 17.7. Remember, this is a 25.5 degree 7 iron, so launching at the 18 degrees is actually pretty good. Spin is 4,700. Now that might look low from a 6 iron point of view, but remember, again, it is a 25.5 degree 6 iron, which is 1.5 degrees stronger than my 5. And if I look at that side of things, the spin rate per loft number, actually it's doing very, very well. It means on average it's going 189 yards carry, but it's going 37 yards in the air and 47.2 degrees descent angle, which anything over 45 degrees, that is going to stop even at 190. And bearing in mind, that is not quite going as far as what we saw when it comes to my live testing. Why? Because I'm hitting, this is an average, so I'm hitting all over the face to capture some interesting ones as well. And it kind of blurs the data a little bit. But again, when you do your data sets, you're going to not just hit perfect shots. So you should keep every single thing in there which are not outliers. So that's why the average is slightly lower. Club speed is 92 miles an hour. Efficiency is 1.38 on average, which is exceptionally good. Attack angle is 2.5 degrees down this angle of the club coming into the ball. Club path 0.8 across and 0.3 open. Tiny, tiny little baby fades. Loft is 22.3 degrees, which means effectively I'm de-lofting the golf club by 3 degrees, which is not too far off what my angle of attack is. So within reason it correlates. But average strike is 6 mil toe, 3 mil low, and I have standard deviation on there to show the variance as well. So you can see that I'm averaging 1/4 of an inch away from the middle. So of course, as soon as you then start deviating, of course, that's why you're going to get, but that's just a measure of the averages for all the individual strikes. And we'll go to the individual strikes in a sec. But if you look at the compare screen, the ball and club compare screen, some people see the graphical representation of it easier to understand than they do the tabular stuff. So that's why I put it up there very, very quickly so people can see peak heights and descent angles. That is descending nice and steep. It's going to stop on any green. Anything over 45 degrees is going to stop on any green, regardless of how hard it would have to be, either a runway or a US Open type venue for that not to stop even at 190 yards. So let's go to the forgiveness side of things, and we've got interesting one straight away. 18 millimeters heel. The ZX4 is the largest one of all the ZX series, the Mark II series. But there's only a certain amount you can push it. Now 18 millimeters is a quite close to the hosel, and push it any more than that, I reckon if you get to 20 mil, you are going to start interacting with the hosel. And bearing in mind, if that is your strike pattern, that is your miss pattern of hitting that close to the hosel, we would be having a discussion about lessons to get rid of that strike pattern rather than trying to find a golf club that's going to work for it, because yeah, you can't play golf hitting that close. But it's done really well. Efficiency is 1.33. It has dropped 0.05 off its average, but considering it's 18 millimeters heel, that's very, very good. Now go to the next one, low heel, generally the worst place you can hit a golf club. I don't know many golf clubs, with probably the exception of the Stealth HD, which is effectively a hybrid anyway. That does very, very well off heel and low heel strikes as well. It's just, but then again, it is basically a hybrid, so it's not then a fair test against irons. But this is low heel, as you can see there, and efficiency is 1.32. So it has dropped 0.06, 0.01 more, but that's not surprising considering the strike. That does not feel nice. That feels worse than the 18mm hill. You can deviate slightly laterally across the face. You can get away with the horizontal misses, you can, but you can't very well get away with vertical misses, and especially if you add a vertical miss to a horizontal miss towards the heel, just the worst spot ever. So it's done really well considering. Now this next one is low on the face. I've pushed my luck a little bit, and I really possibly shouldn't have captured this one and chose one which is not quite so low, maybe 9-10mm low. 13mm is effectively half an inch, just fractionally over half an inch low on the face, which is a load. You don't have to go much more than that in millimeters, maybe 14, 15 before you start getting very close to a top. And yes, it's lost a little bit of distance, it has done. Not a huge amount considering the strike, and its retained ball speed, 1.32 efficiency, is very, very good, especially from that strike. But what reason why we've dropped distance is because of launch characteristics. It's now not launching as high, it's only 15 degrees, 14.9. And that's because of the low strike, nothing to do with how springy the face is. That, again, is not somewhere where people need to be consistently hitting it. But considering I'm testing it on the extremes, it's doing really well, because you really shouldn't be hitting golf shots that far off the middle, especially low. But yeah, next one. So we've got a normal toe shot, the normal ones that you would see every day when it comes to people's delivery patterns. 12mm toe, 5mm low, so just slightly low on the face, yes, but very much toey, so it's a half an inch miss off the toe. 1.37 efficiency, so again that's only 0.01 away from average, and that's gone 186 yards. That is a normal shot from a 17mm gross off the middle. Well done, Srixon ZX4. It's just done very, very well. I was surprised every single time I'm hitting these just how well they are doing. When it comes to a normal toe shot, no low, well 1mm, but 14mm toe, we have got a slightly open face, one there, and also 24 degrees of loft, so slightly more loft, so slightly more deflection. That's why efficiency's gone down by a little bit to 1.35, which is still 0.03 off average, so still very, very good, and it's still 14mm away from the middle. But it's just because the loft differences. I've added a little bit of loft and the face a little bit open, which has added deflection, and so that's why you get a droll back in efficiency. Not really anything to do with the strike. So massive toe. Like crazy toe. 7mm low, which is low, and 24mm toe, which is very toey. Now obviously 24mm toe, you can get away with that. You can't get away with 24mm heel, because that will hit the hosel and that will be disappearing off a very funny angle. You can get away with some horrific shots off the toe. Now, have we dropped distance and have we dropped efficiency? Of course we have. That is horrific, but considering it's done really, really well. Now, delivery is fairly okay, slightly open face and slightly more loft, so again, that will aid in the taking away of efficiency because of the deflection side of it. But the 7mm low and 24mm toe strike side of it did the most of when it comes to dropping efficiency. Now, okay, this is more of a, not say a jokey one, but it's to the extreme. If you were someone to be collecting strikes in this area, no different to the 18mm heel area, we'd be having a conversation about coaching rather than club fitting. You can fit within reason for the majority of the other ones. You can't for the specific ones of, yeah, the extremes. But so I've captured a couple of shots here at a slower speed to see at what point this becomes non-functional. When I'm swinging at 92, 93, 94 miles an hour, give or take, with a 6-iron. At the length of this golf club is at 37.5 inches, and so taking the speed off that, taking 10 miles an hour off or so, at what point do you see the 6-iron, the 25.5 degree 6-iron? It will of course not go as high, it will of course not go as far, but does it get to a point where it stops going into a green with any form of control? So got one here, 83.9 miles an hour. Paths and faces, well, paths is slightly open, slightly from the inside, and face is slightly open, so it's going to go to the right. So, okay, that's my fault. That's nothing to do with the golf club. That's gone 12 yards because of me. So, 2mm low, 4mm heel, so within reason, a very decent strike. Efficiency is 1.39. Yep, but that's out the middle. So I mean, again, 1.38 was average. I mean, this just shows how good the ZX4 is for consistency across the face. But that is going 34 yards in the air and 47 degrees descent angle. So even if I drop clubhead speed by 10 miles an hour, that's still doing really, really well. Still absolutely functional. I captured one here at 82 miles an hour, so slightly slower again, but 2 mil low, 1 mil hill, decent strike. It's going 172, 1.41 efficiency. Okay, I de-lofted it slightly, it's 22 degrees against the other one, so of course you will do, but it is very, very good. Peak height 30 yards in the air and 44 degrees descent angle. So I would say that if you're swinging these ZX4s with a 6-iron, any 80 miles an hour plus, absolutely fine. If you're a golfer that swings your 6-iron, let's say, because obviously we're talking about 6-iron here, in the 70s, especially low 70s, mid to low 70s, I would be transitioning from a 7-iron into a hybrid, definitely, to give you that assistance when it comes to getting the golf ball up, because obviously there's a certain limit. However good that these golf clubs are, there's a certain limit as to what centre of gravity can do when it comes to going that slow. And when you start going slow, speed is your problem, so launch is your issue, peak heights are your issue, and descent angle control is your issue. So then you have to learn, at one point you need to transition into golf clubs which are then going to further help your progression of keeping the golf ball up to further increase your carry. But on the whole, as a conclusion, do they suit me? No, they don't, of course. I like them because they are fun to hit, and it is something that I would honestly look at doing possibly for especially my 5-iron, or a 6-iron in this case, because it is slightly shorter than my 5-iron and it's got the technology in there to hit the golf ball higher and slightly longer than what my 5-iron can do. So there is obvious gains. Now, I'd actually probably go for a ZX5 rather than ZX4 just because of the look transition. There's a big look difference between my 6-iron to my 5, or this 2 6-irons to go into the ZX4. So I'd probably go to ZX5. But if you're someone who needs distance, yes. If you're someone who needs distance and also hits it around the face, yes, also. The feel is a little bit poppy. Of course, it will do from the technology within the head, because it is a very technology-driven hollow head design and works exceptionally well. But again, when it comes to sound, when it comes to feel, when it comes to looks, it's all subjective, and you ask 10 different people and they have 10 different opinions. When it comes to performance, you can't get away from the fact that it's just a really good, solid iron. You just have to be aware as speed comes down, when it comes to your swing speed comes down, at what point you're going to have to transition into the hybrids to make the flight again functional. So hope you liked the video. If you did, go on, thumbs up. YouTube's like it, so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. It's free, it's great for the channel. If you could do that, that'd be great. And down there is a notification bell. That's a ding-a-ling. Go on, get the bell on, because that's a notification bell that will let you know next time I upload another video. So I hope you're well, and we'll see you again soon.